Hello. Let's get started in just 1 second. Make sure this one is running too. Hello everybody. Welcome to Google Hanguk's live stream once again. We're live on both Facebook and YouTube this time. So today we're going to talk about something that a lot of you have questions about usually, and this is the TOPIK exam. So let me just make sure the streams are up and running. All right. Checking YouTube right now. And then let's see, Facebook, you should be live as well. Yes, it looks like Facebook is live and running well. Close that for now. YouTube, are you there, YouTube? Oh yes, let's fix the camera. Okay, so let's get started. So today we're going to talk about the TOPIK test, and many of you have questions about that. Normally people will ask things like, what score do I need to get, or what's like a good score on the TOPIK, what do I need to get a job, or what do I need to enter university. So we're going to cover all of that today. Let me just open up my questions really quickly and then we'll get started. If you have questions during the live stream, please leave them in the comments, and if I don't see them during the live stream, I will definitely comment again and reply to you afterwards. And let me first just remind you of our different deadlines coming up, as usual. So thanks again for joining us. My name is Nathan. I'm the International Student Coordinator at Google Hanguk. And today we're talking about the TOPIK test. So first reminders, application deadlines. SKKU's third term, the due date is between May 1st and the 21st. Sheila University's fall term deadline is between May 1st and May 15th. Kyongsung University in Busan, the summer application term is finished. The fall term application period has started, so their deadline is July 23rd. And our study trips, as you know, the deadline is coming up in about a month, so make sure to apply and pay for those quickly. And we just finished checking the Hanyang University information, so if you're interested in Hanyang University, we should have that ready for you very soon. And we're continuing to make videos about our study trip activities. So if you saw the one last week where we went to the Korean Folk Village, I hope you enjoyed that one. And this week we're going to be going to a market. Also, we're going to be doing a live video at our partner university, Hanyang University, tomorrow afternoon. So stay tuned to our social media for that. It'll be streamed on Facebook. So first of all, let's jump into what the TOPIK is. It's a government-run test that tests your proficiency in Korean, and that's what TOPIK stands for, the test of proficiency in Korean. And in Korean, the title is the Hangukgo Nungnyeok Siyeom. So that literally means like Korean proficiency exam. A couple years ago, they changed the format of the test. They used to have 3 different tests, but now they have just 2. And it is called the TOPIK 1 and the TOPIK 2. So most people that want to get into university or get a job, they'll have to take the TOPIK 2, which is the harder test. The TOPIK 1 covers levels 1 and 2, while the TOPIK 2 covers levels 3 through 6. So the TOPIK 1 test is only scored out of 200 points, and the TOPIK 3 is scored out of 300 points. And the TOPIK 1 does not have a writing section, while the TOPIK 2 does. So for level 1 on topic 1, you need at least 80 out of 200. And for level 2 on topic 1, you need 140 points out of 200. You can fail. So if you get below 80 points on the topic 1, you fail. Same thing with the topic 2. The minimum score for level 3 is 120 points out of 300. If you get below 120 points, you fail. Level 4, 150. Level 5, 190. And level 6 is at least 230 points on the topic 2. And again, the topic 2 is scored out of 300 points. And remember, like, if you don't make those threshold grades, if you're like 170 points, you'll just get a topic 4 because you need at least 190 for the level 5 score on the topic 2. And so when people ask you, oh, what did you get on the topic, you should just say like, oh, I got a level 6 or a level 5, and that means you took the topic 2 and scored that minimum grade threshold. People ask you like which topic to take, and that kind of depends on what you want to do with the language. So for our purposes, today I'm going to try to just explain some of the background about the test and maybe like why you should take the test as well, or what's the best test to take for what you'd like to do with the language. So in Korea, you can take the tests up to 6 times per year, and it's actually less times in other parts of the world. So let's say you live in like the Americas, I think you only have like 4 opportunities to take it, and in Asia and Oceania, that's not Korea, you have maybe 5 times that you can take it. Yes, 5 times. So for the Americas, Europe, and Africa, you can take it 4 times throughout the year, and for Asia and Oceania, you can take it 5 times. And if you're in Korea, you can take it 6 times. The test itself is quite long. The topic 2 lasts about 4 hours, and I can get into the format here. So for topic 1, first you have your listening test, which is 40 minutes, and then you have your reading test, which is 60 minutes. The test itself the test period lasts a little longer than that because there's entrance and attendance checking and identity checking and guidance on the test, etc. Same thing for topic 2. First you have your listening test, which is 60 minutes, then the writing test, which is 50 minutes. You have a 20-minute break. Then you have a 10-minute orientation to the reading test, and then you have the reading test. And before you get started, you have the kind of entrance and identity check for topic 2 as well. And for the identity check, it's to make sure people don't cheat and have other people take the test for them. You have to have some sort of like official government issued ID, like a passport, or if you're in Korea, you have your alien registration card. You can't use a student ID. You can't use like other non-governmental issued ID because they're afraid of cheating. So that's just some basic background on the test. People ask like, why should I take the TOPIK exam? Most people that need to take it are the ones that either want to get employed in Korea or that want to get into university in Korea. So if you want to start university in Korea, most schools have some sort of language requirement. Either you attend their language institute and you graduate and then you might be exempt, or you take the TOPIK and submit some type of minimum score. Sometimes that may be level 3 or level 4. It just depends on the school and that school's requirements for graduation. I mean, not graduation, for entrance. So, and that means you'd be taking the topic 2 test. So you need level 3, 4, 5, 6, depending. Topic 1, I don't think any company or any university is able to use that test, either level 1 or 2. Those levels are quite basic, like level 1 is very basic elementary level, and then level 2 is like slightly more advanced beginner. Level 3 is like intermediate, and then higher than that is like advanced intermediate level. So let's get back to the questions here. So what are the benefits of scoring high on the topic? Basically, like let's say you score high, and scoring high is like level 5 or 6. It basically can kind of vouch for your Korean ability for either university or a job, or if you just want to kind of test yourself to see how much Korean you know, it's a good way to kind of validate your Korean language skill. So a lot of companies that hire foreigners, they want to know that you can speak or that you can use Korean. You're going to have to write a lot of Korean, you may have to read Korean and give presentations. So they want to have some sort of kind of non-biased check. So this government exam is the way to kind of validate your Korean ability besides a job interview, and maybe a cover letter or 자기소개, as they say in Korean, self-introduction writing sample. So you may need like a 5 or 6 base level on the topic to be considered for employment. And that's quite advanced. Amongst my friends, like I know quite a few people that have scored that high, but it really depends on like kind of how much you prepare for and how much you know going into it in terms of the language. I myself have taken the exam twice, but that doesn't necessarily mean, just because you've studied a lot of Korean, it doesn't necessarily mean you'll score well on the TOPIK test. It's a standardized test just like anything. So a lot of people study specifically for the test and may also go to language school classes, but many people, if they want to score well on the topic, they focus exclusively on the test. I see I have a question here. It's not quite related to the topic, but I will get back to you later, Eli Vega. Thanks for your question though. Permission. So I will get back to your question later. Right now I'll just finish talking about the TOPIK exam. Thanks for your question though. So how do I sign up for the test? So the test is offered by the government and there's a sign up process. You have to use Microsoft Windows and you have to use Internet Explorer, unfortunately. Basically you sign up for an account and you can pick the test you want to take, either topic 1 or 2, and then you can pick your location. If you're in Korea, you want to pick somewhere close to where you live and you want to sign up early. The test has become extremely popular these days, especially with foreign students. So maybe the day of signups open, or the day after, almost all the locations in Seoul will be gone. So then you have to go to like Gyeonggi-do, which is this province that surrounds Seoul. I know people that have even had to go further because they didn't sign up early. And signing up also means paying the fee. So there's a small fee to take the test. It is refundable, like on a graduated system. So if you want to refund really close to the test date, you get less refunded. But basically, you need to sign up early and pay the fee as quickly as possible to get a good testing location. I've taken it twice at the same location, but that was because I signed up on the day that signups opened for that specific test. Signups open very early compared to when the test date is, so please check the TOPIK official website for those test times. Just to give you an idea, the test is offered in January, March, April, July, October, and November in Korea. So if you're in the Americas, it's offered in March, April, October, November. That's also Europe and Africa. If you're in Asia and the Oceania area, it's offered March, April, July, October, November. So you need to check the website much earlier than that. Like for July, I believe the sign up opens the first week of May or something like that. So you need to check like 2-3 months beforehand to make sure that you have an account and that you can sign up for the test. If you are taking it outside of Korea, then you may be able to do some type of group sign up, depending on the testing location. So just look up official testing locations in your country, and you can find out like how to properly register. For people in Korea, you can just register through the website and pay the fee that way. You can do a bank transfer to pay the fee. I got a question, what are the benefits of taking the test? I already kind of touched on that, but I'll touch on it again. So basically the benefits of taking the test are that you can officially vouch for your Korean ability for things like a job or a university. So if you've been taking practice tests, that's great because it probably helps your reading and listening ability as well as your writing ability. You probably are learning a lot of vocabulary as well as getting familiar with the grammar that's on the test. So basically, if you want to get employed in Korea, or if you want to, say, enter a Korean university, then you should definitely consider taking the TOPIK test. And taking the test is also a good way to just practice what you may have learned in language school. A lot of people may graduate from language school and then want to get employed in Korea, or they may want to enter a university. So it's important to take the TOPIK test for those reasons. I think just in general, if you're not going to use the language for things like an academic purpose or a professional purpose, it's not completely necessary to take the test. Although if you do want to test your language ability, then feel free to sign up and challenge yourself. I know many of my friends have taken the test, and even if they haven't entered a university or entered an employer, it's a good way to kind of just test your ability in general. Let's see. So how should I prepare, or what should I do to prepare? Going to language school definitely will help you, and I think all language schools build a very good base for Korean. However, as I mentioned earlier, the TOPIK test is a standardized test. So just like, say, the American SAT or ACT, you can definitely study to the test. And by that I mean you can buy books like this. This is a preparation book. This is just one of like many that are out there now. With this book, it's only written in Korean, so I suggest picking it up once you have some Korean under your belt. But the good thing about these prep books is that they give you sample questions, sample tests. Like for the writing section, they give you examples of like good and bad answers or average answers, and tell you exactly like where the mistakes might be, how you can improve your writing, how you can write more, how you can use different grammar. Also, for the TOPIK 2, there's a short writing section, and there's only like a set number or set style of questions that the test ever uses. So there's like 6 different styles for that. So they give you details about exactly like how to answer those questions and samples for that. Here's just some like more sample questions, and of course all test prep books will have like these type of helpful hints for you. The reason I liked this series, which is called Perfect TOPIK, is because of the writing book. The writing book is quite good, and it has a lot of examples and practice tests. It also does a lot of detail in like what's like an A answer, what's like a B answer, and then like an average answer. It talks about different writing tips, where you need to be careful, where they have actual like sample writing tests here that students did, and they show you exactly where all their mistakes were, and then you can see their corrections. So this is just, again, one of many books you could buy. There's really like, it just depends on kind of your study style. This was helpful for me, but you may have other books that help you better, like maybe just vocabulary books or grammar intensive books. But I suggest picking up something with a lot of practice tests, because that's a good way to practice your timing as well. Because as I mentioned earlier, you only have a very like limited time for each of the sections. Timing, I guess time management is a big deal with the TOPIK. A lot of people have trouble with time management. They run out of time during the reading test or the writing. So doing a lot of practice tests helps you with time management. I have another question here. Jaeger Senpai says, I've heard anything under a 3 is useless for jobs in universities. Do I think this is true? If you take the TOPIK 1, as I said earlier, it's a very basic level. It's like elementary, novice level Korean. So if you're going into like a university or professional setting, you're going to want at least like an intermediate to advanced language ability, and they're going to want that same thing from you. So I advise you take the topic 2 if you want to do anything professional or academic, and I advise scoring as high as you can. Personally, I've taken the test twice. The first time I took topic 2, I didn't do so well, and the second time I improved quite a bit. That was just due to practice and being familiar with the test and the time limits on the sections. There's a bunch of literature out there now on test taking tips, the vocabulary you should study, the grammar you should study, how to write a good essay for the topic 2, the writing section, because you're going to need to write one long essay, which is like 700 to 800 characters, and then a shorter one, which is like 200 to 300, I believe. I haven't taken the test in a while, but basically you need to really manage your time well and be able to put together a cohesive essay. If your thoughts are all over the place, you won't score well, even if you wrote like 800 characters. Like they want to see that you can put together a cohesive essay in the time limit given and using a fairly high level of Korean. That includes your character spacing, like making sure your deosubi is correct, making sure all your spelling is correct, and making sure you use like kind of a variety of vocabulary. The test prompts they give for the writing section especially can be kind of challenging. And some tests they have easier topics than others, but you should be kind of familiar with the types of questions they're going to ask. And these books, as well as other old practice tests, help you do that. In regards to the other sections, like listening and reading, there is no speaking section yet, but I've heard rumors they may add that in the future just sometime. But right now there's only writing, listening, and reading. For reading, you definitely need to have a lot of vocabulary. The questions in the later part of the reading section, as well as the listening section, get very difficult, and you really need to basically just scan and hunt for the answer. Once you see the question, find the correct answer in the reading passage or the listening. You don't have time to read the whole thing. You don't have time to like really listen hard to the longer listening sections because they're quite long. So again, you can look up different test taking tips through books or the internet, or maybe you can ask your language teacher like what they think is the best way to go about taking the test. Basically, a lot of practice I think will help a lot, as well as being familiar with a lot of vocabulary and practicing the writing especially. Again, my name is Nathan. I'm the Google Hanguk International Student Coordinator. Today we are talking about the TOPIK test, which is a very popular subject and is in direct relation with language school. So maybe you're attending language school and in the future you'd like to take the TOPIK. So I'm trying to give you a couple of tips and tricks and just basic information about that test. And let's see. So I already talked about kind of like how you can prepare and what you should prepare. So let's talk about like after the test. So after you take the test, you're able to get your score back, but it takes like a month. And your score is actually only good for 2 years. So let's say you take the test this year in July, it's only going to be good until July in 2019. And you do get a official like certificate. So you can print that off the internet from the TOPIK website. And if a company asks you or if a university asks you to submit that, you can. It'll be official from the government. And you can use that for 2 years once you get your score back. As I said, you can fail the test, so if you don't make that minimum score on either the TOPIK 1 or TOPIK 2 test, it'll just say like fail, and you may be a bit sad, but of course you can study hard for the next exam. And you can sign up for the test as many times as you want. You just have to pay the fee and make sure you sign up on time. So you may be able to take the test like 4 or 5 times per year if you really want to. Although normally people I know take it like maybe twice a year or at most 3 times a year, because it is really mentally intensive. So it's hard. It's also hard to pay attention to the test for that long, like an hour, almost an hour straight of listening. Same thing for reading. So be sure to like really practice getting your mind in the test taking zone, I guess, for the test. You don't want to burn yourself out so quickly taking the test over and over, or doing too many practice tests and just, being very burnt out before you even get to the test. So I suggest maybe, doing these type of prep books a little bit, maybe each day, or devote a couple days a week to doing the practice tests. And then maybe after a week or two, you do one practice test and see how you did, and then review like what you did, you good or bad on, and then waiting a week or two and then doing another practice test up to your test day. Because these test books, depending on which one you get, they may have practice sections and test taking tips, as I mentioned earlier, different skill, like this one has skill boxes. So maybe you can devote and break up your time in that sense, like, oh, today I'll practice reading or writing and maybe go over some study tips. I'll look at old tests. Just go about taking the study time like that, because you don't want to just keep grinding through questions over and over again. You want to study kind of in a diverse way to give yourself some variety. So let's see, what else can I tell you about the TOPIK test? Your company may require you to like keep getting certified. Like, as I said, the test is only 2 years, the certification for your score is only 2 years long. So they say, oh, well, now you're a TOPIK 5, that's great, but 2 years from now, will you still be like a high-level Korean user? Depending on how much Korean you use in your company, they may require you to get certified again. So you may end up taking the test like every 2 years. It just depends on the company. For university, normally just for entrance requirements, and then you're good to go. You're going to be using Korean like every day in university anyway, so depending on your program. So you should be able to continually improve your Korean, especially if you're in an academic setting as well as in a work setting. Let's see. So again, I'm Nathan, the International Student Coordinator at GoGo Hanguk. We're talking about the TOPIK test today. If you have questions, feel free to leave them in the box in the live chat for either Facebook or YouTube. Let's see. Oh, hello. I have another question. If you haven't gotten a response back from us, please be patient. It normally takes us about 1 to 3 business days. If it's been longer than that, just send us another message and we'll be sure to get back to you. Your name looks familiar though, so let me check our email inbox, Aim and Jeffrey, and I will get back to you after the live stream. Apologies if you haven't gotten our message. Also, sometimes our message doesn't go to your inbox because we send so many emails. It may go directly to your spam or your junk mail, so be sure to check those too. Some people don't email us from a correct email or an email address they don't check often. So just be sure to check your spam, your inbox, your junk mail, and use an email address that you check daily to be sure you get our correspondence. Sometimes people mistype their email, so our email server may send you a message and then gets bounced back to us immediately. That happens every now and then, so just be sure to check all those different boxes in your email, and yeah, no problem. And I'll be sure to check our email inbox as well, just in case we didn't see your message. Sorry about that if we didn't get back to you within that 1 to 3 business day period. I'm going to wrap it up here in just a minute. Just for those who may be joining at the tail end, we've been talking about the TOPIK test and just a few details about the test and what you could use the test for, as well as how many times it's given throughout the year, and the test format itself. Many university programs offer prep courses for the TOPIK specifically, as well as there are private academies here in Korea, and I'm sure in your home country as well, there are places that can help you take the TOPIK. So again, if you want to go into academia, if you want to get a job, I recommend taking the TOPIK 2 and scoring high as you can. A 5 or 6 would be great. It does take a while maybe to get used to the format, so give yourself some time to get used to the format, the timing, the different sections, and different techniques to boost your score. It may be helpful to just take one real one, even if you haven't studied that much for the test, to see like where you are, to kind of benchmark yourself. And then after that, you can figure out where you need to study, either it's reading or listening or writing. And then, study for a couple months and then sign up for the test and maybe take it again to see where you are. And don't get discouraged if you don't score well the first time or even the second time. I know someone who's taken it like 4 or 5 times to just continually kind of benchmark themselves and see how high they can score. So just, keep at it, study hard, and, just practice makes perfect. You'll get familiar with the test format and the timing, and then it's just up to your Korean knowledge, like vocabulary and grammar and your different communication abilities. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. Again, been Nathan with Gogo Hanguk. I'm the International Student Coordinator. Be sure to tune in tomorrow afternoon for a video at our partner Hanyang University. We're going to be observing a level 1 class there around 3 p.m. in the afternoon Korean time. Also, this coming Friday, we're going to be going to a market and showing you around the market and eating some street food, and hopefully we'll get to show you guys a lot of the market, and we'll be doing that in the evening. So maybe we want to start like around 6 o'clock, maybe between 5 and 6, depending on how long it takes to get there. So thank you very much for joining me today. Again, if you have questions after the stream, or if you visit this video later and have questions about the topic or anything relating to living and studying in Korea, please comment on YouTube or Facebook. Send us an email at info@gogohanguk.com. Our website, www.gogohanguk.com, has a contact form which you can also use. So thanks again for joining me today on the Ask Me Anything live stream video, and we'll see you shortly. Bye bye.